Hi, I'm Nicole Hoff, and I teach K-5 art at Vicenza Elementary School in Vicenza, Italy, and I'm the 2017 District Teacher of the Year for Europe South. So I'm really excited to be part of this new wave of professional development. I hope it becomes the new standard model for professional development in DoDEA for art teachers by art teachers. So even if these aren't the most perfect lesson plans you've ever seen, we hope that they're more relevant than the alternative.
And the lesson you're about to see is a third grade class working on abstract art and concentric circles. This lesson is a marriage between the DoDEA Visual Art Standards and the College and Career Readiness Standards for Mathematics. They're also going to be making a very small square that's going to become part of a Vasily Kandinsky inspired mural. And what's exciting about a project like this coming together is not only is it beautiful, but the kids really take ownership in it because they become part of something bigger. They walk down the hallway and they say, "That's mine, I made that, I'm part of that." And that's especially important for me in creating a school culture for our military children.
Okay, so we start the lesson off with a little movement activity. This is a dance chant that I borrowed from Cassie Stevens, who is an art teacher and online blogger, and I really enjoy her work. If you're not familiar with her, check her out on YouTube. And so we're doing this abstract art dance, and then we're going to review Vasily Kandinsky from our last lesson.
Ready, and abstract art has lines and shapes and color, baby, color, baby, color, baby, color. And it is not a picture of a thing. Woo! Nice job. Go ahead and have a seat. I'll remind you real quick about the artist we learned about last time. This is Mr. Vasily Kandinsky. We learned he's from Russia. That's why he has a really cool way to say his name. And he was considered the father of abstract art. He sort of started the whole idea, and he was the first person to become really famous for doing abstract art.
So after we review, I introduce a couple new pictures by Vasily Kandinsky, and the kids get to turn and talk to other kids on the carpet about their emotional reaction and what they see and how they feel.
All right, finish your thoughts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, turn your bodies back towards the pen. What's really interesting about that is that the same painting made different people feel different emotions. I heard some people say nervous or happy. And so very different feelings from the same painting. And that's what's cool about abstract art. Everybody sees something different or feels something different when they look at it. And of course we learned about this painting with concentric circles. And that's one of your math words too, right? Circles inside circles inside circles. Concentric circles. Let's try and say that word together. Ready? Concentric circles.
So I actually have 3 different projects going at the same time for this lesson. The first one is what you're seeing here, where the kids have a 6x6-inch square, and they're using oil pastels to draw circles. I also have groups that are coming up to the smart board to get to draw Kandinsky circles using Microsoft Paint and get used to the feeling of the smart board and how to control that. And then the last thing I have them doing is I have little drawing robots that you'll get to see in just a second, and you can actually make one of these yourself. I purchased these ones, but you can use a motor and either a plastic cup or a pool noodle. There's lots of videos online about how to do a drawing robot. And then what's cool about these is they're all introduction projects so that kids start mastering the materials. They learn how to use the smart board, and they're starting to learn how to use the oil pastels in a controlled setting so that later when they do another oil pastel project, they'll have an understanding of how to control the materials and how to do blending and things like that.
All right, so I'm going to adjust the arms. And so a little bit of an experiment, just trying too close together. And, all right, so what you need to do to make it stand?
There. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, it's perfect. Yeah, it's a perfect circle.
That's a pretty cool circle.
Is it here all?
So you don't even have to do any work. You can just hang out. The robot will do your drawing for you.
Yeah, thanks, yeah.
All right, so Eric, you want a chance to turn it off and try and make one of your own? All right. So you can adjust it if you want to.
I'm surprised to see how it turns out. With color 2, it just doesn't work out.
Oh well, it's perfect circle too.
It looks exactly
Oh my gosh! Yep. So, who remembers the strategy for gluing?
straight down, just down, not along.
Exactly right.
This is awesome. Look at this. I'm smudging it. Smudging it, and I'm making the colors mix with each other.
Nice. Say that again?
I'm smudging the colors, and that's how they're making all these different colors, because they're mixing each other. So it's red plus blue equals purple.
So I love the opportunity for kids to work collaboratively and to make a collaborative mural, but this is also great because it's such a quick and fast project in that they're only making a 6 by 6 inch square, but in that process, they're really learning to master the oil pastels. They're understanding how much they blend or they smooth, so we get a beautiful product, but more importantly, they're learning how to use the oil pastels so that for their next project, it can be open-ended. I'm not going to be telling them what to make with the oil pastels, but they'll get to use their own sense of self-expression while using the medium in a meaningful manner. Now, of course, there are a million variations or extensions on this project. Here you get to see some kindergartners painting concentric circles collaboratively with their classmates. And this is a little more free form for them to experiment with the paints and making circles. But it's great to not always tell kids what they're going to make, or to give them a little bit more of a challenge in figuring things out, not just telling them what they're going to do. So here's a thought challenge I like to give to my older students. I give them a string and a marker, and I ask them to use those materials to make a perfect circle. It's great to have them work with a partner or in small groups, and they have to sort of think this out. Now, a lot of groups will make a just wonky yarn circle like this, but if you give them enough time, eventually, hopefully some of the students will figure out that they can make a compass. And then you can have that group demonstrate their technique to the rest of the class, and if they don't figure that out, then you can demonstrate how to use the string to make a compass.
Kids working together, then one of them can just hold the string rather than needing tape, but this is how I demo it. And this is a great CCRSM connection, talking about circumference and diameter and radius, and having authentic integration of math skills into art because you're needing it for serving a real purpose. It also connects back with the standards for mathematical practice, the SMPs for elementary school. 1, make sense of mathematical problems and persevere in solving them. 5, use appropriate tools strategically. And so they really enjoyed learning how to do this. And then I also showed them how if you continuously wrap this and make the radius smaller as you go, you can make a perfect spiral. And they thought that was a pretty cool trick.
So one more little or not so little extension on this is to use it to make a gigantic circle.
This is a giant Earth that we made for Earth Day last year. It was 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade students that did it. And they did all the drawing out of the continents, and they had a little help with that. But for the most part, they really planned it out and mapped it out. And so I made connections back with the social studies and geography standards for each of those grade levels. We talked about landforms, we talked about the continents, they were asking questions about the equator, and really talked about things that were connecting back to what they were studying in their classes. I've always loved doing big works of art in class and getting lots of kids involved in projects. I believe that the art room should be a place where there's lots of movement and interaction and skill building, and where kids can try out tools and techniques that they might not get to anywhere else, but also a chance to build interpersonal skills, because when we're doing just individual projects, the kids don't necessarily get to work with each other, and that's an important life skill. In this particular case, they were laying down and tracing each other's bodies out. This is a great start for a Keith Haring mural as well. But they just made organic shapes, and we talked about different kinds of shapes, and then they were able to mix some colors as well, and we did primary and secondary colors, and then they painted in a ton of them, but had to work together to do that, and here's how that went.
We're making abstract art. We're making abstract art.
What was your process? How'd you make it?
First, we laid people down on the paper. And then we made their shapes, and we traced people. And we made different shapes with their bodies.
How's this working out to have all of you painting one painting at the same time?
It actually gets it done faster.
Alright, so I hope there was something in this video that you could use as inspiration for making your own lesson plans. These are certainly not all original ideas. If you spend as much time on Pinterest as I do, you've probably seen lots of very similar projects. And so I hope that there's something in here, though, that you can tweak and make your own or use to teach in your own classroom to inspire a project. Well, whatever it is, I hope that the big takeaway from this is not just that this is about making some kind of product, or that any of these particular products are that special, but really about the process over the product. When I'm designing a lesson, I like to ask myself, of course, what are the standards I'm trying to teach? That's the starting point. But then, not just what are we making, but what are the students learning? What's their big takeaway from the lesson? Have they learned a new technique or process? Are they mastering a new material? Have they built their problem-solving skills? Are they increasing their interpersonal skills? Are they adding new tools to their artistic toolbox? I hope that that's your thought process as you're going through this, making connections to whatever grade level you're teaching, going through the standards, seeing if you can use that as a jumping off point to design your own lessons. Whatever it is that you decide to create today in terms of lesson plans, I really hope that you share it on Schoology, because I can't wait to learn from all of you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I would love to connect with people. It's always exciting to meet other art teachers. That's really part of what I'm most excited about in being part of this, is the chance to get to network with other people and steal all your good ideas. So please share ideas. That's what this is all about, is working together to network and help build each other up so that we can use the CCRSA to be the most effective teachers we can and really support our kids. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today, and I hope to hear from you soon.